On July 20th, 1969, humanity celebrated what was hailed as its greatest achievement, the landing of Apollo 11 on the moon. Neil Armstrong's words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed across the planet. But what if this leap never happened? What if the moon landing was not real, but instead one of the most elaborate fabrications in history? In this alternate reality, the greatest triumph of the 20th century becomes its greatest deception. Chapter 1. The Cold War Context. The 1960s were defined by the Cold War, a global struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union. Both nations poured resources into the space race, seeking not just scientific progress but symbolic dominance. For the US, beating the Soviets to the moon was not optional. It was a matter of national pride and political survival. If the landing was staged, it means the US government calculated that the risk of exposure was worth more than the humiliation of losing. And in this alternate reality, the Cold War would be remembered not for triumphs in space, but for lies written into history. Chapter 2. The conspiracy becomes reality. In this scenario, NASA, pressured by politics, turns to deception. Instead of landing on the moon, they build massive sets, deserts in Nevada, or secret sound stages hidden from the public eye. The footage is carefully directed, every step rehearsed, every word scripted. Engineers, astronauts, and television crews are sworn to secrecy. The entire planet watches in awe, unaware that the greatest event of the century is unfolding on Earth, not the moon. Chapter 3. The world reacts. If the truth ever emerged, the reaction would have shaken the world. The United States, once hailed as the leader of progress, would instead be branded a deceiver. Trust in government would collapse, allies would distance themselves, and the Soviet Union might gain the upper hand without firing a shot. Ordinary people, who gathered around televisions to witness history, would feel betrayed, their belief in progress shattered. The 20th century would be remembered not as an age of achievement, but as an age of manipulation. Chapter 4. Science without the moon. Without a real moon landing, science would have stalled. There would be no lunar rock samples, no proof of mankind's ability to reach beyond Earth. Space exploration might have slowed by decades, with Mars missions and international cooperation postponed indefinitely. In this alternate timeline, humanity could still be grounded, trapped by deception, with space remaining a dream rather than a frontier. The entire scientific community would have been crippled by doubt. Chapter 5. The Legacy of a Lie. If the moon landing was staged, it would remain the ultimate paradox, a lie that inspired truth. Even though it was fake, billions of people believed, and that belief pushed generations towards science, innovation, and exploration. The irony is that even a lie can inspire progress, but the shadow of betrayal would linger forever. Every breakthrough questioned, every achievement doubted. In this world, trust would become the scarcest resource of all. Chapter 6. The Cultural Fallout. The moon landing was more than politics. It was culture, inspiration, and art. If it were fake, films like 2001, A Space Odyssey, or Star Wars would be viewed through suspicion as audiences wondered, are we dreaming of space because of truth or because of a lie? Music, books, and popular imagination might have taken darker turns, reflecting cynicism instead of wonder. Instead of celebrating astronauts as heroes, culture would brand them as actors in the world's most expensive performance. Chapter 7. The Domino Effect on Trust. If the moon landing was fake, it would set a precedent. If governments could lie about something this monumental, then nothing would be sacred. Every event afterward, from wars to elections to scientific breakthroughs, would be questioned. This erosion of trust would create a world dominated by paranoia and conspiracy. Even genuine discoveries, vaccines, satellites, or future Mars missions would be dismissed as hoaxes. Humanity would enter the 21st century not with optimism, but with endless doubt. Chapter 8. A Future Without Stars. The greatest tragedy of a faked moon landing would be the death of humanity's dreams. The space age would not inspire new generations of scientists, engineers, or dreamers. Instead, it would leave bitterness and fear. Children would no longer look at the night sky and imagine themselves walking among the stars. In this reality, humanity might never reach Mars, never build space stations, never become a spacefaring civilization. The stars would remain distant, not because of physics, but because of broken trust. The real moon landing inspired generations, proving that humanity could reach beyond Earth. But if it had been faked, history would look very different. Less about progress, more about propaganda. The question is not just whether the landing was real or fake, but what kind of world we want to live in. One built on truth and discovery, or one sustained by deception. What do you think? Would humanity still dream of space if the first giant leap was a lie? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more What If Alternate Histories on Parallel Reality X.